All right, we're live. Sorry for the late start. Had some technical difficulties. It's an exciting day. We get to move on from the Z-axis and actually start working on the CoreXY motion components. It's going to be a little bit of prep at the beginning with heat inserts and stuff like that. So, join us and sit back and let's enjoy it. Just adjust this a little bit. There we go. Okay, I think all the cameras are working, the mic's working. I think we're all good now. Now let's get the CAD open. I had to restart my computer. This wasn't working, but seems like it's doing okay now. Trying to open everything back up. All right, so let me grab the printer. Take a quick overview of what we're doing here. So we're gonna be doing the kind of start with the Y rods here. So they're gonna mount here, here, have a rod going down the center of that. Same thing over here. We'll be mounting the motors in the back here. Maybe we'll get to the X-axis if we have time, but that's our plan for the day. Perfect. All right, Chip says he's in, so we're all good to start. Let me grab some of the parts that we'll be using today. I've got kind of a mess here, but we need this, this, this. Okay. I like the little logos on these that you did, Chip. These are awesome. Let's see that. I need to move this down. There we go. Oh, I didn't realize this one got boogered up that much. Where'd the part go that I was just looking at? Right here. Yeah, those look pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the CAD. We're going to start with heat inserts. So these ones, of course, looks like we've just got the 6 on the sides. And for the Y carriage, sides and then square nuts there. Cool. I may end up reprinting these later because you can still see the pattern from my build plate and the paint where it started coming off. But we'll just build it as it is now and cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, we'll move from left to right here, kind of like a conveyor belt. And I think this is the one part I had a question on, Chip. The screws that go down through, if I can pull this up, they go down through here. I don't think we're using any heat inserts or washers or anything, right? This just goes straight into the plastic. I believe that's the case. So basically we don't need anything up or down there. I mean, obviously that'd be very hard to get a heat set in there anyway. So I think we're just doing plastic there. But I want to get all these heat inserts in so we don't have to worry about it later. Come on. Might have to grab the tweezers to do this. Wonder if that'll be easier. I'm just no good with these small pieces here. Oh, of course, I'm trying to put that one in upside down. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. My cord doesn't go that far, but yeah, that should be a good start. Nozzle tip was a little gross. There we go. That looks better. Now I'm gonna grab my putty knife, and we're just gonna go for it. Perfect. Well, that one sunk a little bit deep. That's okay. I was looking at the foam chip that we're going to be having to install here, and I was worried they didn't send enough, but I think it will be enough as long as we cut it into the right size of pieces. Good. Might need to turn this temperature down just a little bit. Like as soon as it starts sinking, it's just gone. That gives a bit more time to work with. Nice. One down. Now I'm setting these aside because there's still more work we need to do on this later. Let's start with, where's the other complementary piece of this? One, two, three. Motors. Okay, I'm missing one other piece. Where did it go? There we go. Must have been admiring at my desk. Forgot to put it back. Yep. Good to know. Thanks, Chip. And yeah, the bearing stack is important to get the washers and the spacers in the right spots. So we'll be paying extra close attention when it comes to that. Trying to see if I can get away without having to do that cold press method. That would make this a little bit quicker, even though I generally prefer to do it. I don't want this to take too long. Yeah, it looks like by turning the temperature down, I'm able to stop it at the right point. Nice. A little more. I keep saying like, man, I'll do some of this boring stuff off stream. I don't have to bore everyone with it. But when it comes down to it, this is about the only time I have to work on this throughout the day. So, you know, figure I might as well just stream it and we can cut things up later. Into, oh, that sunk, into smaller videos. It's like some of them sink really fast, others take a little bit more time. Cool, there's two. As for these are just going to have, I think, the 6, 7, it looks like, on the sides. There we go. Gonna dump a few of these out here. Oh no. Yeah, let's get these set in there because these ones for some reason are just a little bit, or they don't want to stay in the holes quite as well. Just lock them in there so we're not fighting with them later. Cool. There we go. Chip, I saw that I think the x-axis or was it the tool head that was from the Prusa Bear? How much of that is reused, or what components of that are used in this? I think I saw the credits on the GitHub page, but me not being as familiar with the Bear project, or I guess just Prusa printers in general, since I've unfortunately never owned one, not familiar with what's your design or what's borrowed and uh, adapted from other designs. I figure if I don't know, other people won't, and I don't want to misspeak when I'm telling people about the project at Remurf or posting details on Discord. In fact, the donor printer for this project is a bear that Fabrico provided to us for this build. Thanks again. Um, I'm curious. I'm not sure. Like as I was taking it apart, I was like, man, some of this parts of this x-axis and the tool head look pretty similar. We're gonna do the same thing here. Let's lock these in. It also doesn't help that this is not the right size for M3 inserts. Still don't know where that went. Okay, got just a tiny lip on two of these here. Guess it's a little better over here. Trying to keep it centered. The camera, but I have to keep looking over to make sure I'm not out of focus or out of view. Cool. There we go. These I don't think need any other special prep aside from the bearing stacks, but we'll get to that. I'm entering the final chapters of the video game I've been playing, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh man, it's getting good. Then, of course, like any good JRPG, you got to go back and do it all again on hard mode, which is actually good because that's one thing I've been a little disappointed with this game so far. Is there's tons of side quests and missions to do, but if you do all of them, you go into the later parts of the game so overpowered, and so the difficulty scaling seems to be an issue, at least for me. Um, I prefer there to be a little bit better of a challenge, but one game I remember that did that really well is Xenoblade Chronicles. All three of them just had really good difficulty scaling and the ability to, tweak things so that it always felt like a challenge, but you weren't overwhelmed at any given time. But when you start off the game, it basically just gives you easy, normal mode. And I guess there is a third one that I tried for a little bit, but it didn't seem any easier. It's called like adaptive or dynamic. Um, it it's supposed to adjust the difficulty level according to your skill, but I think it still only maxes out at normal. Uh, oh, nice! You're playing that too? The remaster version on Switch? Nice. Yeah. No, they came out with Rebirth a few weeks ago. Have you played Remake, Chip, or is it just? Are you playing the? Because there's Remake. I think they remastered it, but it was still like the original game. But the remake is kind of the same story, but they do some deviations, but still kind of hit the main story points. Um, but Rebirth is the second installment. It's kind of like Disc 2 of the original game. Kind of follows those same places. Uh, Junon region, Golden Saucer, Costa del Sol. Get to meet the characters like, of course, Yuffie had her own kind of DLC side game called Intermission. Um, but the what am I trying to say? The new characters in part two, so Rebirth that we're talking about. We've met Vincent and Sid, awesome characters from the series. Kate Sith, love him or hate him, he's there. Won't give away any other spoilers, but it's good. If you're a fan of JRPGs or Final Fantasy VII in general, definitely worth the playthrough. The one downside is that remake part one of the remake was on PlayStation 4, and they remastered it for PlayStation 5, but Rebirth is only on PlayStation 5. So I held out buying a PlayStation 5 for so long because that was the only reason I really want one, was for this game particularly. So as soon as Rebirth, actually no, I didn't get it for just Rebirth. It's when Final Fantasy 16 came out. I was like, okay, I can justify buying a PlayStation 5 now. When they first came out, they were but basically sold out everywhere. The supply chain issues were just killing everyone. And secondhand market was like $1,000 a pop, and that just I couldn't bring myself to do it for a console. But here we are a few years later, prices came down. I got the PlayStation 5 and the game bundled with it for Final Fantasy 16. And of course, once Rebirth was available for pre-order, I just told him shut up and take my money. I want this game. And it's been worth every penny so far. This part of the game really has a lot of great moments with Barrett. if you've kind of been lukewarm on Barrett, love him or hate him, if you're playing through this game, you really, I think, get a lot more insight into his background and, him as a person. Pretty cool. He's also a tank in this game. There are several boss fights where he was the last one alive. The boss would have like half health, quarter health, no Phoenix Downs, no resurrection, but one of the summons that he has is called the Magic Pot, and it heals everyone, but its final summon it does before it leaves is it resurrects everyone. So there were several times where Barrett was just this lone wolf left and was able to resurrect everyone, finish the boss fight, or just straight up tank the boss the whole time, as long as you have a heal on him. And, he has a skill called Steel Skin that makes him take less damage, improves his defense. And with that on, like, and an HP up materia, he just doesn't die, man. He's pretty brutal. Sweet. Okay, so that's all of our Y rod mounts and Y carriages. Should we do the motor? Well, let's save that. That's not heat inserts for now. We'll come back to the motors if we get to that. The heat's starting to creep up through that silicone socket as well, so we'll put that away for now. Okay, let's do, we're looking at the order here. Yeah, so we're going to install the Y rod mounts first. So starting with this, looks like we'll be using M5 by 14s. Just going to check if that's everywhere. No, that's M5 by 20. So 20 on the sides, 14s on the, well, I guess depending on which way you're looking at it. 20s going the long way, 14s on the sides. Cool. And we've got to actually take some extrusions off for this. Make it a little bit. Here is the work in progress. So I think we just need to take off the sides and the back. I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. Like this tool for that purpose. Don't over loosen if you're trying to do this, otherwise it won't be able to slide out. Loosen enough to where it feels really like it's moving very easily, and then you'll be able to slide it all out pretty easily. Top. So this actually might have to unscrew all the way from the top down. There we go. Bang. Quick and easy. Oh no! Until you drop a screw. You know what I'm going to do? trick I use for when I'm working on cars. Put the screw back in, a couple turns where it's supposed to go, and you'll never be wondering where your screws go again. Actually, this was kind of all built and squared based on, I just don't know if replacing these, if one's just like a 1/10 of a millimeter less, it's going to throw a square off. So I'm going to try to keep them on the same sides of the printer. Or if I set them down here, keep left and right. I don't know if that matters, but don't want to cause any unnecessary issues. This one, probably out like that. Okay, so yeah, that's not going to mess anything up. Perfect. One thing about PETG, you get these, if you have any overheating spots or if you get a booger that builds up on the nozzle, it comes off in this charred black messy goober. It gets all over your prints. Chip, did you build yours with PETG? I know yours is like the similar orange color, but is it PETG or ABS? Let's find our M5x14s and M5x20s. M5x15. Our M5x20s might be out already. Put the one back we're not using right now. M5x16s. Let's put those back. Ah, there they are. M5x20. Oh, except the tool head, which is polycarbonate. I like it. I'm gonna have to try polycarbonate one of these days. It's expensive, but is it just PC or is it the PC carbon fiber? I know there was that option as well. You had talked about that. I think the Prusa does, right? Get some shots of it here. These are going to go on like so. And I think they sit flush against the bottom. Yes. Yes, they do. Get ourselves some washers. M5x20 for the inside pieces. There's two of them, right? Yes, okay. Quick sanity check, make sure you're doing it right. Okay, now that I've done that, is it better to have done the bearing stack before we install it? I don't know if we have the screw in from the top, if that's going to, if we have the screw in from the top here, if that would get in the way of this screw. I don't know if it matters one way or the other, because it's still pretty accessible, even if we put it in like so. So I think we're just going to do that. And we need our roll-in T-nuts, because you can't screw into nothing. Since we're up here close to the corner, we're going to install with the hole facing upwards. And it looks like it's going to be pretty close up to the top, so if it goes up this far, I don't know if you can see that, but the spring, the button spring in the back actually fits into the wrench hole for the blind joint. So that might not be as good of a connection for these roll-in kind. We'll see what happens here. Just normal PC. Cool. So let's got one. Two. Top one. Three. If that does feel too loose, I mean, it shouldn't matter because it's going to tighten and pull it tight against the frame. But yeah, if it's just sitting up like so, it just very loose and wants to fall out. So just be careful with it. Probably have the same thing on the other side here. I'm going to change something up here really quick. Okay, hopefully my iPhone can keep this, keep its battery charged while we're streaming, because this charging port is just too restrictive. Or, actually, just let me redo this really quick. There, that will let me get a better angle here. Whoop. That feels like about the right height. All right. We zoomed out. Yes, we are. One more roll-in nut from the side. Looks like it's going to be about near the bottom. Okay. Again, maybe I over-prepared here. I'm going to dump out these screws. Otherwise, we might have them starting to fall out while we're installing it. Let's install the top piece here. Push the bottom one up into position. So looking at this, yeah, so it goes down flush against the extrusion here. So actually, that's not as big of an issue as I thought up here, because pushing down a little further. So now I want to try to get this all lined up. Is that the right way? Might not have been. Too far. Not a problem. We'll just take it out. Now, now that we've kind of eyeballed it, we know gotta go down. You just hold it up to the side. You can actually get a pretty good idea where everything's supposed to go, just like that. All right, be easier to do the bearing now, Chip says, so let's do that. Come back to this. Woo! Bumped that up. Okay. So let's look at our CAD. This is what Chip's talking about. Oh, I wonder, I hope I have these spacers printed. I don't know if I do. But he's talking about there's a very thin M3, no, M5 washer, right? Or is it M3? M3. There's an M3 washer right in between these bearings. And that makes it so that the belt path will be 6.5 millimeters instead of just 6 from the bearings there. So there are actually 3. So I think there's actually, no, okay, that's just the screw. So in this case, it goes bearing, washer, bearing, spacer, I believe. Here's our bearings. And the washers, I don't think these are the ones we want. Here's our foam tape. Oops. Here's our foam tape that we'll be using later. We'll cut this up into smaller sections. Washers. Let's see if I've got spacers. Looks like I do. Got some large ones and some small ones. That's good. Okay, so these are small spacers. I think those are used. Well, let's take a look at these are the large ones. Got 4 each. So the large spacers go here. And I think depending on which corner you're working on, yeah, this one has double bearing stack. So bearing, washer, bearing, spacer, bearing, washer, spacer. No, spacer, bearing, washer, bearing, spacer. Right? No, that's just part of this whole part. This is our short spacer. Is that short spacer just a single part chip? Or is that like 2 small spacers stacked on each other? I mean, that wouldn't, I don't think that would make sense. So I'm pretty sure that's just a single part there. So depending on which end you're doing, make sure you prep the right piece for the right part. M3 by 25. This is one of the, oh wait, this is a button head, so let's check if we've got the M3 by 25 hex heads. There we go. Okay, let's get the screw started. Always helps if you're kind of holding it in the orientation that it's going to be on the printer. And if you look at this and this, you'll see, you know what I should do? I'm going to change something on OBS really quick. There we go. Not like everyone needs to see the chat here, because that'll be in your window. I just have it up so that I can see cat and chat at the same time. But now you can see what I'm talking about while I'm looking at cat. Right? Yeah. So if you're directionally challenged like me, taking and holding the part up in the same way that you're looking at it in CAD, which is not the right way. Let's turn it the right way. Trying to check if there's any other differences between left and right here, but I think as long as you've got it like this, that looks the right way. Then we know we're putting things in on the right spot and in the right orientation. I had my son down here earlier helping me disassemble the old printer, and this was his favorite toy. Just gonna get it kind of started there, and then get our CAD. Might actually help if we find this in browser, then isolate him, so we can just focus on this guy. So I'm turning it around like that because we're just turning it around kind of the same way here. And we're going to work on that with everything oriented the same way. Makes it nice and easy. Okay. So go down a little bit further there. Bearing. Go down a lot further actually. Bearing, washer, you can get a few of these ready here. Oh boy, yeah, my fingers are a little too fat for that. So let's get a couple different sets of tweezers. Here we go. Zoom in a little bit more here. And I'm going to try to make it so that I have a benchmark. You know what? Actually, should have done this in the first place. I have to keep looking over to see if I'm in focus or not in focus, and try to give an idea where the center is. Something like that. So I know if I'm focusing on that, then you'll be able to see it. So, washer, it's in between the spacers. Chip, do you know, is this standard in other builds that use stacked bearings? I haven't ever used stacked bearings before, but like, is this what they do on the Borons as well? Or is this a chip specialty? Okay, finally got it on there, as you can see. Wow, and when it's on, you can barely even tell that it's there, but it's on there. Second bearing goes on facing opposite direction, like so. Now we're doing this upside down. Yeah, so they don't put the washer in. That's what I was referring to. That's so this is that washer is a chip specialty, everyone. um, so I guess the hard part about this is I'm doing it upside down, but I think if we put this in, it's going to go like so, with the thin end basically pointing to the bearing stack. We're going to have to undo this just a little bit, get it just right. I really like the electric screwdrivers for this, so there's less twisting, turning, fumbling around. Use my other set of tweezers here. Looks like it's going to be a tight fit, but that's okay. It was sitting just proud of the bearings, but if you squeeze it in just enough, okay, I actually want to get it as flush as possible so it starts to bind with this part, but doesn't block it. Very close. This is what you meant, Chip. Little tricky, but figure after the first one, it'll be easier in the future. Okay. Instead of trying to hold it up for the camera, I think you can kind of still see what I'm doing. But holding it and just tweaking it with one hand, because even just like an eighth of a turn can make all the difference from being able to get it in and it getting stuck. So now we're set in there. And again, this doesn't screw into anything on the other end. So you can just keep screwing until you feel it's all the way in there. So that, Chip, that feels super loose. Is that right? It's not supposed to, like, I don't know if you can tell, but it didn't go down very far. Did I use the right thing here? And 3 by 25. I don't think I got flush with the bottom of the hole there. But I think it's because it's not grabbing. Like there's no threads there. What's the genius Gates belt? I'm not familiar with the term. Looks like that's just not the right. Did I use the wrong screw? Are these just not 25 millimeters? I don't have any other hex heads out. I'm gonna check this with my calipers really quick. Check. Where did it go? Right. So these are indeed 25 millimeters, but like it didn't get anywhere close to going all the way through there. I don't know what's going on. So if that ends right here, like that, like the head starts right around there, but it's just barely, see what I'm talking about? Like, well, maybe not. There's just not a lot of room. Unless, is it supposed to sit down further in there? But it's like flush with the top. Well, in the CAD, this gets flush and even pokes out just proud of this recess here. But in reality, I think mine's ending like right here. Unless I'm missing something. Like, I should be able to have the screw sitting up just proud of this, right? So that's what the CAD looks like. Huh. Okay, let me take this one out. Maybe I grabbed the wrong screw, because that doesn't make sense. Trying to balance the stack in there so it doesn't come undone. These look like the same size. Okay, give me a moment. I'll check a couple of other things. Yeah, I'll check the screw length in CAD and see if, is it named 3x25, but actually 3x30. Even when I pulled my calipers out, like, that's, like, that is 25 millimeters right there. And that's about where the head is ending. So yeah, let's check that. Make sure it's not like... Okay, so from here to here is 35 millimeters. What we've got there. So M3 by 35, I think, is what we want. And it was really named that, right? Oh, you know what? My eyes are going bad. You know what? That does say M3 by 35. What a silly mistake. So yeah, that's my bad. You had it all right. I just couldn't see the right number at the bottom. That's why we do sanity checks. If something doesn't quite look right, we take a pause, back up, and make sure we get it right. This week on Apex's live stream, what fun mistake can we make this time? But if you notice, I don't think we've made the same mistake twice yet. We've made similar mistakes twice, but not the same one. Okay, I'm still holding out hope that I don't have to redo those. I can just take it out, leave the stack in place, and it'll work for me. And 3 by 35. I can't believe I did that. Sorry, Chip. Once again, if I have to guess the CAD, I just ought to double check my own work. On my main monitors, they're quite a bit larger. And so when I'm doing this Fusion 360 work in front of my computer, I can see a lot easier those numbers. But with this laptop screen, even though it's like a 17-inch, the number at the bottom when it shows the CAD name, the part name, I, for some reason, just thought it was a 2 and 3 by 25 instead of 35. but we found the issue. We're gonna fix it. Basically, I'm just balancing this, hoping that it all stays in place just by friction alone. I should have got the... Oh yeah, we did. We did. I don't know if you can see that on the main camera, but it's staying in place. Okay, there we go. So now we have it sitting just proud inside that inset there. I don't think we have to worry about tightening that really or cranking it down. If it's in and the bearings spin freely, oh, I love that. That's, I think, a problem that I had with my snake oil. I usually tighten these too much, and so it squished this down or deformed it. But yeah, I don't think, Chip, I don't know if you put any extra torque on that, or basically like once it's set in there, like that is solid. That is clean. I like it. I don't know if I've ever felt that good of a tolerance on a 3D printed mechanism before, because there's no movement at all. I love it. So now when that goes in, it'll go in like this. Well, no, we'll save that for, we're not going to try to make sense of that right now. Now on the opposite side, isolate this guy. Now this is a double bearing stack, so we're going to use a short spacer here. Once again, we're going to grab the part. We're going to try to orient it just like we see it in the CAD. Instead of trying to do it from this direction, which, no one cares about that, because this is what we actually need to see. So we're going to do it that way. Grab our M3 by 35. Sometimes these little bags just feel like they have super force holding them closed. Use all my finger strength to get them open. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. I just have to remember that was from our kit. But we should have extras, so we're all good. Starting from here. Looks like we go down from the top. I keep bumping the camera, and I think that's part of why I keep losing my view. There we go. And we're going to keep going down. Then we have enough room for about 2 spacers, or the bearings and the spacers. So, whoop. Good heavens. I'm going to need tweezers for that. Just a bearing, washer, spacer, if you will. Oh man, I missed that on camera too. It was perfect. First try. but the washer is in there, as we can see. Well, maybe as you can't see, but trust me, it's in there. Okay, then we put our spacer in, our printed spacer. Shouldn't really matter which direction you do here, but part of me just wants to do it on with the flatter end against where we're at right now. Kind of like that. Should go through there without too much hassle. And then another bearing. Okay, I'm not ashamed. Using tweezers for the bearing. Okay, I'm going up just a little bit further so it's easier to get the washer on, and I'm probably going to back it out just a tiny bit so we have enough room to get the other bearing in there. So washer. There we go. Should I flip these two? I think I will. Got my zoomed in stuff so you can't see it. How do I bring this back to front? Oh, I can just do that. Yeah. Okay. So I have this and that. You know, I can probably even move this in over here. Yeah. Now, maybe you can actually see the washer in there. We're setting that down. Want it down as far as possible because we're going to have to back it out pretty far to fit the last bearing in there. Wish I could get a little bit of a cleaner view of that, but fine. So, putting the tools away, just using finger tightening until it's barely just there to hold the washer on. So again, we're dealing with some pretty tight tolerances here. Then the last piece, we're gonna go up just flush against the printed part. Maybe we can get this first try. Oh, so close. But being a bearing, it wants to spin. Oh, did we get it? We got it. It's just binding a little bit. Ha! I can't believe that went so smoothly. I don't know if we're actually threading into that or not. I'm gonna grab something with a little more fork behind it. Wait. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Those have a little wiggle room, but that's totally fine. That small spacer in there is just not going to be exactly precise with FDM 3D printing. But no, that feels good. We're gonna roll with that. Okay, that's 2 down. Take a look where we're going next. Okay, so we were working on that. Means we've done that side, that side. Moving back over, it should be pretty much just a mirror. Yeah, since we did the double bearing stack, let's just do that again. It looks like these are totally symmetrical, right? So I think, does it matter which one you use for which? I don't think it does. Or actually, these are probably both the same type, but that's why we double check and hold it up where it we can see the differences in the CAD. Okay, so we start with our screw. Cool. You don't have to worry about grabbing the wrong part of these. These are all the same. Set this down until it's about halfway. Okay, say it out loud so you don't forget. Bearing, washer, grab a couple of them here. Our washer. Come on. Come on. Maybe I can get that in there just so close. There we go. Okay, let's screw that in just a bit more. Small spacer. Oh, fingers are not going to get it there. Oh, geez. Stuff is springy, man. I feel like a jeweler. There we go. Anything. That might have been too far. That was way too far. Oh, Bulbasaur, I totally missed you earlier. You need a link for the screwdriver? They're all over AliExpress and probably Amazon. They just take a few button batteries in the back and come with, you know, a few different tool heads, or what are they called? Bits. But yeah, just a couple button batteries in the back. I think it's like 20, 30 bucks. It's not, it doesn't have a lot of torque at all, but that's good when you're working with 3D printer parts. You don't want to over torque things. Okay, on to the hardest part again. Just set it up there enough so we can get our washer in. Keep looking back at the camera to make sure I can give a good view, but it's kind of hard to get right behind the camera to do it. Dropped it. Got it that time. Make sure it's nice and flush so we can back this screw out as much as we can before it lets go of the washer. Again, you're dealing with like a 0.5 millimeter there. And if you're sitting too proud, you can't get the bearing in. Oh man, we might. That's the hardest part, is when it goes too far back. Okay, might not be able to capture this on camera quite as well, but we'll try. If it's just the right distance, it'll kind of want to set in there itself. As you screw up, if it's not quite right, then I think that's what we had the problem with last time. The bearing was like going sideways. Okay, I think that one's about right. Yeah, you know what? That was just not as bad as I was thinking it would be. It looked like it was going to be difficult, especially as I got closer. But that's not too bad. As long as you take your time. Cool. The single bearing stacks are a lot easier. I think that's our next one. Wait a minute. I broke the rule. See how that's not the same as in the CAD? I didn't double check. So I started doing this upside down. Don't do that. Flip it. And that's the right way. The stream name was actually supposed to be a pun for a certain movie. Quote from the man, when did that movie come out? The 1940s? Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Oh, sorry, I haven't heard my Discord going off. Shit. So that picture you sent me, that's for doing the idler bearing or the pulley? Or is that for the which part is that for? Oh, on the Y carrier. Okay. Okay, good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Woo. Oh my goodness. Those things just fly when you let them go. Get in there. Perfect. Spacer. Wait. I'm doing it upside down here, but the again the shallow end or the more narrow end touches the bearing. That's the thing to remember. So I forget, we got to back this out. This. I know you can't see on camera as well, but I'm just tilting it this way so that the spacer comes back towards me. It hopefully lines up. But sometimes you need to try a couple different ways. There we go. I think we're in. Cool. So now, when we look at it like so, that looks just like our CAD. I'm double checking. I am worried that I did one of these other ones upside down. I don't know if that really matters. So this one scoops down from the top, like so. Oh wait, hold on. This one screws down from the top. That's our head right there. Oh wait, no. Yeah, I think I did them all. Got it all messed up here. So that's right. But if we go back, where's the other double one? Wait, one. Okay, so actually no, because yeah, on this side, we'll be going this way, but when we go to the other side, it is flipped upside down. So I think we're okay there. Okay, let's set these aside. So basically we have a double bearing here, double bearing there. But in order to install that on the other side, it's got to flip. Right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it took me so long to wrap my head around that. Okay, so let's look at these Y carriers. I don't think I have all parts unisolated here. Let's go ahead and show all components, show all bodies, and then hide our panels. Let's take a look at this one. So when you wrap this around, Chip, let me see if I can pull this up on screen. Maybe not. Just a moment. So this is the trick Chip is suggesting. And I know I've got some belts sitting around here somewhere. Here we go. So if I see that right, you're wrapping that around with the bearing washer and the bearing in the belt, right? So to make our jobs easy, instead of trying to balance it, let's try to put them on like this. Oh wait, we need an M3. We'll just use our extra M3 by 35 since it came with one extra. So we're going to thread this on. Take a washer. I need to dump a few more out. And thread that on. And the next one. So we kind of have our bearing stack right here. And you guys have seen the picture from Chip there. Then we've got to insert it into our Y carriers like this. And I think it's going to be the same on the other side. Let me just double check so that we don't have to keep going back and forth. Yeah, that's all the same. So we're going to wrap the belt around and then push it into the recess here. You know, this one actually doesn't look like it's going to be too hard, but this one's probably the more difficult one. But let's practice on the easy side first. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to prep a couple more on here. I don't know how many we can get on here, but that way they're just ready to grab and take off of the screw. Bearing. Washer. Bearing. Bearing. Washer. Bearing. Oh, I don't know if we can get the last one, but that's okay. So now we can take, we're going to cut this a little bit shorter. This is just some old belt from an Ender 3 that, or Ender 5 that snapped on me one day. So it's not serving any other really useful purpose. Oh, my cutters are over here. And I'm just going to try to get this down to a manageable amount so I don't have it snaking all over the place. Looking what I'll need it to do. I just need enough to wrap it around, push into here, like so. So really, you only need about maybe, I don't know, 50 millimeters of this or less. This is a really cool idea, Chip. I like it. So we're going to try to wrap this around. And we're going to squeeze so there's plenty of tension on that. And then we have the bearing and the washer in the middle all together. And shoot, I just realized I should probably get the screw started and ready first before we dig into this. Ha! Look at that. Actually, that's probably not a great idea. Unless, does it actually fit down there without coming out? Yeah, I suppose it does. Okay. What I did is I just stuck the head of the screw into a little hole that I've got in this particle board. So we've got a little bearing stack Christmas tree here. Okay, looking at the CAD again. This is an M3 by 20. I read it right that time. Do we have any of those out? Don't think we do. And it's a hex head, right? 3x20 button head, and 3x20 hex. And what's the other one going to be? 3x20. Okay, that makes it easy. That's why we've got a set of 5 here. 20% extra means just 1 extra here. So awesome. I love it when the numbers match up. Goodness, guys, I might need tweezers to open these bags. My thumbs are too calloused and beat up to do this. Okay, I'm not above that. I mean, just kidding. I did it with my raw fingers. You didn't see it because it was off camera. What do you guys think of this close-up view? Is this a better viewing experience? Probably, right? At least for this type of stuff. So, get that started. Get this one started. Or push through a lot faster. Is this one going to do that too? Probably not. All right. We're just going to use our high-tech bearing grabber. And take this out. Set that in. Come on, baby. There we go. And that rolls right out. That's genius, Chip. I love it. The name for this, if you want the exact model of this screwdriver, Bulbasaur, it's a wow stick. The jokes write themselves. I didn't make that up. Okay, now that we did our practice run with the easy position, we can do this for real. Once again, grabbing our bearing stack. Oh, just the one, please. That takes a little more work to get that back there. I'm worried that washer is going to come undone, but we'll see what happens. Not undone, but it's going to slide out of the position. So this one actually does need a little more threading, but yeah, I can already tell that those came undone back there. So we're going to back it up, try again. Where did our washer go? Oh, it was actually still kind of like set on there, so it might have been fine. I'm going to push down on the bearing as I grab it. So hopefully it binds the washer into place. And yeah, that is the hard part, is getting that back there without losing tension on it. Let's see what happens. No way. I got it. I was just kind of eyeballing it and guessing, but nope, I didn't get it. That's what I did. That's not the right way to do that. We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay, just gonna test this out really quick. How far do we need to go? Put that back there. Pretty far. If this doesn't work after another try, I've got one more idea. Don't want to ream this out too much, because then the stack will be a little floppy. Okay, let's give it another shot. I'm going to try with my left hand this time, so I can feed the screw in with my right. Okay, pushing down to bind the bearing. Or bind the washer. I keep saying bind the bearing, but that's not what you want to do. And I'm trying to keep tension on it by pushing into it. And maybe, maybe I actually can take this out and look in from the top, but I actually think I feel it sliding into place there. Oh, we're hitting the bearing. I think. Maybe we got it. Can't tell. Big bucks, no whammies. Hey! Oh, I heard. How did we... We got the bearing, but the washer came out. You can actually see the differences in the height. This one's got a washer in between. The one back there does not. Okay, got another idea. Man, we were so close. I think it just lost the tension it needed. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of do the same thing, but we're gonna zip tie it so it doesn't lose tension while it's back there. I'm just gonna get a loop started here. And once these teeth interlock, I don't know if that can be seen on camera super well. Let's back it up. But once these teeth interlock here, like so, zip tying them, you don't even need a lot of tension on it. We'll keep them locked in and prevent it from losing the tension while we're trying to set it back there. Close. I'm gonna not do it towards the center of the belt. I'm gonna leave us with a little bit of a tail, so we have some room to control it and feed it back there. Okay, so I should be able to pick this up, and I think we have that working. Now, now the trick is to see if it's going to fit back there without the zip tie getting in the way. Oh yeah, no, see that's what it's all about right there. Now we can mess with it, we can adjust. We should still be able to take the zip tie out after. God, that would be the worst if we got this far and couldn't get it out. We'll get it out one way or another. All right, take your handy dandy side cutters, whatever you have that's sharp and dangerous. Get back there. Make sure that the man, what's that called? The block of the zip tie? What is this part called? The locking mechanism? I don't even know if you can see it on camera. It's facing outward, because basically you just have to destroy that and the whole thing will come apart. There we go. Now you can see we have that 0.5 millimeter gap here, as well as back there. That's the new official method. Yeah, we could make another tool chip, but honestly, if you've got zip ties and uh, some extra belt laying around, this works great. Okay, so we've got one stack left, so we're just gonna make our extra stack because the other side's gonna need two as well. Woo. You guys ever pick your washers up like that and just push down on them so they stick to the inside of your finger? Works better than it should. Did that go on there? They're so thin, it's hard to tell. Yeah, yeah. Okay. You could do this with the belt that comes with your 3D printer kit, but that's a Gates belt, which is very nice, a lot more expensive. So if you've got just cheap stuff laying around, as you reach back there to cut stuff, if you nick the belt, mess it up, I don't know. I don't want to mess up my expensive belt. Um, Gotta set stuff aside as I'm done with it so I don't lose my parts. Here we go. So you don't need a zip tie for the first one, so we're just gonna do that really quick. Oh wait, M3 by 20 was it? Right here. So Chip, did I just print too many of these spacers, or are these used at the motors? I may have just printed extras because I expected some of them to fail. Those things can be a little bit difficult to get to print without popping off the build plate. Oh wait, no. Get started with the screw first. Okay, yeah, these only go in one way. Nice. Okay. If it happens twice, it's not a fluke. So if it works this time, I think we've got a solid method for getting this done. Let's make our loop. And get it pretty tight, like about finger width to start. Get it around. And kind of push down to lock that washer in place. Pinch. Okay, I think that's good. Again, we've got our locking mechanism where we can get to it. I'm just gonna feed that back there. Oh, and this goes from the other side. Our washer might have gotten out of alignment. Oh, what happened? I guess I didn't zip tie that enough. Where did the other screw go to hold this in place? That's not the one I just used here, was it? Maybe it was. Bearing, washer, bearing. Yeah, if you can do this, if you can do that, you didn't tighten it enough. That's for sure. That you really just need to try to get as close as you can to the bearings. And then, can I pull that any tighter? I think that'll work. Let's give it a shot. Turn it around. We're kind of fighting against the printed body there. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I had that far down there. That's why it's not going in. Unscrew enough. Yeah, it'll be a miracle if our washer's still in place, but let's see. You can actually see if it's lined up from back here too. That's nice. I mean, I don't know if you can, but I can. Going in. Okay, it's kind of fighting. So we either just slot it into the washer or it just pushed it out of the way. We won't know until we take the belt off. Yeah, that's probably not a good sign, but let's just go full send, see what happens. Oh, well now it's coming out. So yeah, we think the washer just came out of place because I was messing around with it too much in the beginning because I had the screw in there. Man, the first one went so smooth once I used the zip tie. So since I was trying to force it, I might have messed up the washer. I don't know for sure if it did bend it or not, but I'm just gonna ditch this one, get a fresh one. Right here. Okay, it's on there. Okay. All right, third time's the charm. This has got to work. I think it might be a little better if try to pinch a little further back so that our zip tie is just right up against the bearing. Or maybe we can man, well, cheap zip ties will do that. Also wonder if it's easier to do this out of the screw. So then I can manipulate it with my fingers a little easier. Okay, that looks like it pinched a little bit better there. I think we're going in there. Come on. Stuck again. Keep hoping we can just like jiggle it into place. I don't hear it shaking around, but let's see. I'm gonna try taking this screw out and see if we can look down the screw hole. and see if we can tell what's going on. Oh yeah, it's right there. It's just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit off. I don't know if that's going to show up on camera, but it's there. So if we go in like so, shouldn't need a lot of twisting because this top part went in without too much hesitation, but oh no, that was over here. That one just slipped right through. This one needed to actually screw in. This is where it dies usually. Oh no! Come on, man. Work. Oh man. Alright. Chip sent me a tool, printable tool, to maybe make this a little easier. Having a hard time giving up on this one though, man. It worked so well the first time. Yeah, okay, so there's our problem. Ooh. You see where the washer is just not where it's supposed to be. We can probably use our tweezers. Yeah, so I just used the tweezers to line that back up. I'm not too concerned about having destroyed the washer because we weren't torquing down very much. It's not like the washer has very many places to go. So now, having lined that up, as long as we keep it flat and level, that washer doesn't have many places to go. And we can use the screw hole instead of just guessing by feel. We can take the screw out, line it up, and this one's gonna work. This is the one, guys. If we can even get it started in the part now. So what, did the bearing move since I... Yeah, I guess it did a little bit. And so did our washer. Damn it. I think it's actually from the twisting motion that's twisting the washer around. Because, like, I can move it around and it doesn't go anywhere. But as soon as I start twisting through it, I think it's turning the washer. And that, I think, is something you're going to fight, whether you're using a tool like this or just lining it up yourself. Patience, persistence, and a little bit of luck. Keep going, man. Keep going. I think it's still going. Is it? Probably not. Okay, let's see if we get lucky. If we just cut it and let it do its thing. Trying to keep it level. Like, the washer's obviously not falling out. And it looks like it's, like from here, I don't see it off to one side. But we do see the bearings turning as we turn the screw. I'm actually wondering if we're through and it's just not wanting to thread in the plastic. We'll see. Well, this is the one we had from before. But yeah, I don't think we're quite hitting the plastic yet. The last one, and it decides to cause problems. No, actually, I think we were pretty close to being all the way through. We're all squampus now. Like, that's a whoop. That's about where we were, right, guys? Like, that's about where we were. So I think we did make it through. And we just weren't going through the printed part. It's like if we go down like this, we're just screwing. No bearing involved. Oh, so that goes. Oh, is this because I used the wrong size? It is, isn't it? I'm using an M3 by 35 when I should be using an M3 by 20. All right, well, that might be a sign that it's time. Done for the day. Let me just double check that. M3 by 20. Yep, okay. That's so frustrating. I'm sorry, guys. Where's our M3 by 20s? Is your M3 by 30s? M3 by 20s right here. So the zip tie method is good. It works. But if you use the wrong screw size, nothing's going to work. Yeah, see, now I've kind of reamed this out, so this is not ideal. I might reprint this part tonight, because I can pretty much just put it down in there, and I don't know how much wiggle room it's got. I mean, not too much, but we're going to do one more time just so that we can say that we weren't defeated by this. We won. My poor little electric screwdriver's having a hard time now. Okay. One last time. Okay, this is it. This is gonna work, and then we'll install the rest of this tomorrow. But yeah, you can easily see where things line up here. So get it into position. I'm gonna turn it upside down because it wants to move back the other way with the tension of the belt. Okay, M3 by 20. Just double checking that. Yep. It's not one to stay in position, but I know about how to hold it to get it right. Just like that. First try. Woo! Shot out of there. Okay, there we have it. We're done installing the bearings. Oh, my back hurts. All right, tomorrow we're gonna throw all these on the printer frame and install some Y rods and go from there. But having made a couple mistakes that bad, I'm gonna call it today. I mean, they were easy enough to fix and undo, but that's usually a sign that my brain is checking out for the day. So we'll pick this up tomorrow and get to the fun part. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you later.